Hello kids! Good morning or good afternoon. It's me again, teacher Tina. Today is Science 5. So before we start, please get your workbook and textbook. Please open your workbook page 34 and 35. And for textbook, please open your textbook page 53, 54, and 56. So let's start. So last week, changes in matter. This is continuation of our topic last week. So again, this is physical change, reversible changes, and irreversible changes. Then physical change is always mixing substances with water. Then soluble substances and insoluble substances. So that is our topic for today. Again, reversible changes, irreversible changes. Mixing substances with water. So means substances is, these are example of substances: baby powder, sugar, coffee, salt, pepper, flour. So that are substances. Later I will show. So some substances dissolve in water. For example, salt. This is salt. Salt dissolve in water. So this is page number 35. Page 35. So salt is dissolved. Salt then mix when salt added into water and stir. So what will happen? So this is the salt is dissolved in water. When it's added to water, salt is soluble in water. Soluble in water. So salt particles spread evenly among the water particles and form a salt solution. A solution is homogeneous mixture that has a uniform appearance and composition throughout. No new substance is formed in this process. Dissolving salt in water is physical change. So this is physical change. Water added into water. This is dissolved in water. And this is soluble in water. Another example is we can get all the salt from a salt solution by evaporating the water from the salt solution. Therefore, the dissolving of salt in water is reversible change. So, this is reversible change. So, however, not all substances dissolve in water. For example, sand. When sand added into water and stir, this is do not dissolve in water. And another example is chalk powder. When the chalk powder is added into water, then stir, this is insoluble in water. So, sand and chalk powder is do not dissolve in water. They are insoluble in water. So, these are examples of dissolved in water. These substances are example of dissolved in water. They are soluble in water. And this is physical changes. So, the first is when the detergent powder added into water and stir, this is dissolved in water and soluble in water. So number 2 is Nescafe. So Nescafe is when you add it into water and stir, but Nescafe normally is in the hot water. This is dissolved in water and soluble in water. So number 3 is baking soda. So baking soda, when you add it into water and stir, this is dissolved in water and soluble in water. Then number 4 is coffee mate. When you put coffee mate or added into water and stir, this is dissolved in water, soluble in water. Then next is salt. So this is salt. When salt added, then this is dissolved in water, soluble in water. And next is sugar. So when you added into water, then stir, then this is dissolved in water. Next is monosodium glutamate is when you added into water then stir. This is dissolved in water, soluble in water. So these are examples of substances dissolved in water and they are soluble in water. The next is these are examples of do not dissolve in water and they are insoluble in water. Again, these are examples of do not dissolve in water, insoluble in water. So these are substances. Do you call that these are substances? So first is flour. So flour is when you added into water, so this is do not dissolve in water, insoluble in water. So number 2 is chalk powder. So chalk powder is, I don't have example. So when you add it into water, then stir. The chalk powder is do not dissolve in water, insoluble in water. And next is sand. When you sand the added into water, then stir. The sand is do not dissolve in water, and this is insoluble in water. Talcum powder. So talcum powder, so this is do not dissolve in water, insoluble in water. Just only in the, and here is, this is insoluble in water. And pepper, this is do not dissolve in water, insoluble in water. So that are the example of the substances. That is the difference between soluble in water and insoluble in water. So again, dissolved in water is soluble in water. Do not dissolve in water is insoluble in water. So next is this one. Please answer. And what happens when a substance is mixed with water? So the substances is salt, sugar, sand, and chalk powder. So number 1 is salt. Number 1 is salt into glass of water. Water, salt, and this is the solution. So you need to draw what will happen. Number 2 is some sugar. So you need to draw sugar. So what will happen into the glass of water when you stir the sugar? Number 3 is add some sand. Draw the sand into a glass of water. Then what will happen? So this is happen when you add the sand in the mix in the water. The sand is here. So number 4 is add some chalk powder into a glass of water. So you need to draw chalk powder in the glass of water. Then what will happen when you mix? So soluble in water or insoluble in water. Number 1, salt and water, soluble or insoluble. Number 2, sugar and water, soluble or insoluble. Number 3, sand and water, soluble or insoluble in water. And number 4, chalk powder and water, soluble or insoluble. So number 5 question is which of the substances dissolve in water? Sugar, sand, chalk powder, or salt? So you need to write the answer. Which of the substances do not dissolve in water? Sugar, sand, chalk powder, or salt? So I hope you understand our topic for today, and see you again next time. Right, goodbye.